And we're live here at the Station of Decapitation without your head. I'm Nasty Neal.
That would make me terrible, Troy.
And we're joined by the returning director, Marcel Walz.
Hello, hello.
And for the first time here, Gigi Gustin. It's good to meet you.
Hello. Good to meet you guys as well. Marcel, yeah. I know you.
And hopefully it's good to see him again.
Oh, all the time. He'll be at my place for a wine night soon.
Right,
or vice versa.
Yes.
So was the first movie you two worked on together, That's a Wrap?
That's a Wrap.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about Brute 1976, which is coming out, and Garden of Eden, your two new movies. But I do want to ask about how you guys two got together. And Gigi, what was that like to work on the Marcel movie for the first time? Because, you know, Marcel uses like his group of regulars. So, you know, coming into like a group of people that already know each other.
She's a part of this now.
Yeah, now she is one of them, but at the time she wasn't.
Yeah, I was really excited. I mean, the horror community is small but powerful, and we all kind of know each other. So I had known of Marcel's work, and I had just recently worked on a movie with Sarah French. Her and I did a project together, and then she was at a screening, and she was with Marcel. And I ran up to her and I was like, Sarah. And she introduced me to Marcel at that point. And he Instagram messaged me about That's a Wrap. And I said, deep throating a hair curler death? I'm in.
Nice.
But everyone was super welcoming and kind. And, you know, I think the director sets the standard for what the vibe is going to be on the set. And Marcel sets a very positive vibe and standard for the cast and crew. So everyone was very kind. And although I was a new player at the time for That's a Wrap, everyone was really, really nice. And I fell right in, and now Marcel just can't get rid of me.
Well, she fit right in. So she had that positive energy and the craziness we wanted and the talent and everything. And she looks fantastic, and she's just nice to have around, you know? So she like check. Well, yeah, we keep her.
I like this.
Yeah. So I was talking to Marcel before it live. You know, Brute 1976 is coming out a little bit later, I think in August, and Garden of Eden is out now. I assume like that you guys just made these like almost at the same time, but I guess they were made and then you explain it, Marcel. How
Well, we did. We started with Garden of Eden, and then like 4 months later, something like that, we shot Brute 76. So yeah,
we stayed.
Okay.
It's only like 2 months apart or something. Yeah.
So it wasn't that much. All right. So Garden of Eden is out now. If you could give people an idea of what it's about who aren't aware yet.
Well, it's a fucked up religious family movie with or about power or using power over other people, and it's very culty. It's
disgusting.
Oh yeah.
In the best ways.
I think that's what it is. Right?
Right, Marcel.
Yeah.
So, Gigi, besides working again with Marcel and Sarah and everybody, what interested you in Garden of Eden?
Garden of Eden, I will say, I had to read it twice in a row in case I missed something. You know, every time you watch a movie, you catch something different every time. I think the same thing happens when you're reading a script, and just so much was happening. And there's a lot of, I think, themes and subliminal messages. And I just wanted to make sure that through the gore and the splatterfest that this project was, that I really understood my role, and not just my role, but the role of the rest of the cast, so I could make sure that I fit in and did my part to complement the rest of them so that we could tell this story in the most powerful, effective way possible. And I guess my big scene, which without spoilers, the really disgusting one with the hanger, it was a much smaller scene, but at the time there were really disheartening issues surrounding Roe versus Wade and abortion. And so I had spoken to Marcel and Joe, and I said, I think we should take this a step further, and really show how mortifying going through something like this can be, and capture the grief and the guilt that people that go through what my character went through experience. And they trusted me and allowed me to take it one step further. And it's something that is very disturbing, but I think effective, and people remember it. And if people are talking about it, then I think that means that we did something right.
Yeah.
100%. So I knew right away. Sorry to cut you off, but just to revert back to the question, I don't know if I fully answered. After reading the script the second time and just sitting on my character, that's when I was like, I'm going to have this conversation, and if we trust each other, they trust me, I will trust them, and it's going to be a yes, let's do this. And they were super open to my ideas, and together we, made it what it was, and I'm really glad that it worked out, that we did it.
Yeah. But, I would say along those lines, when you have social commentary in a movie, it can work both ways. So it works as just a movie if you're just watching a horror movie. And it also, if you look deeper. And I just want to know, finding the balance there, because you don't want to preach at somebody. You still want it to be like a fun movie or a horrific movie. But also it's nice to have something deeper there that people can take away if they see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I agree. No, it's it is a very we have many Gigi's part or Sarah Nicklon's part. Every single one has his own little segment of craziness, and so yeah, it was very important for all of us to spend enough time, or at least as much as the time we had for that kind of production, to really pay justice, kind of, you know what I mean? So yeah,
it's actually really interesting because I watched both movies back to back, just for the interview, and so the one movie that's set in the desert, and the people are kind of dirty, you know what I mean? They're living underground and stuff, and the other movie is very luxurious, so wealthy people, and so it's a really interesting movies to watch back to back.
I think what I want to do, or with Joe and Sarah, what our production company wants to do, is every movie should be different. Mm-hmm. Even in the same franchise, Brood 76 and 86, even those two are super different. The 76 is obviously very Texas Chainsaw, 70s sturdy and all that. 86 is much more fun and gorier and more it's
an 80s slasher.
Yeah. But it's so different. So it was very important for us that Garden of Eden and Brood 76 are very much a different movie. So yeah.
How does the partnership with Joe Netter work? Does he write the whole script before you even see it? Does he come to you I have an idea for something, to see if you're interested?
Well, the funny thing is, Garden of Eden, that was actually the first script he ever wrote for me. That was even before Blind.
Okay.
So yeah. So I had an idea. I told him this is what I want, and then he knew what I like. He knew that Martyrs is one of my favorite movies. He knew that American Horror Story, that's my holy grail, and and he kind of combined that pretty well together. And then he wrote it, but we never had the chance to do it because, believe it or not, it is a hard sell to find.
Because it's a weirder movie. Bruce 1976 is you could just say this is a slasher movie, but Garden of Eden is
it is. It was very we never really tried because we always had Blind or Pretty Boy, then That's a Wrap, and then it's a funny story, but we found a producer and an investor who said, well, you know what, guys, do whatever you want. And we're oh.
Yeah, you got to keep that guy.
Now that door's open. So in that case, well, let's do Garden of Eden. And yeah, so it was okay, I guess that's a sign from God that we should do that movie.
Yeah. It's interesting you said American Horror Story, because your movies are a similar idea, because it's the cast come back, a lot of the same cast, but they're playing different people. So it's
I'm
a very
Ryan
similar
Murphy
thing
with
in different
hair
seasons.
and less budget.
Yeah.
For now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite season of American Horror Story?
Oh yeah, a hotel.
Oh, okay. You knew that one right away.
Oh, that's on my TV on repeat. Like every time when I clean my house or whatever, it's in the background. It's because it's, in my opinion, it's just perfect. The music, the camera, the acting, everything, the costumes. Oh God, everything is
Oh,
it's perfect.
Yeah, Gaga just rules in
Oh,
that.
Gaga is like,
Yeah.
I was
Gigi,
very disappointed that Jessica
Go on.
Lange wasn't in it, but then I saw the season. I'm like,
yeah.
well, it is what it is, whatever. But yeah.
Gigi, do you watch American Horror Story?
it's funny you say that. I started after I told Marcel that I hadn't seen it, and I swore he was never going to cast me ever again had I not.
That's in the contract.
I did go and watch
Paragraph 3.
And I watched a little bit of the Kim Kardashian one just out of sheer curiosity, and so I remembered Marcel that I had watched it. So I like it. I do. I'm not the best with TV and shows, and I've learned recently that I think I've missed out on some really, really good.
Yeah, there's some great stuff. Yeah.
Storytelling. I mean, TV is great right now. I'm just I will play the 1996 original Scream over and over before I'll put on a new show. That's just.
Well, that's fine, Gigi. You can do that. That's okay.
Marcel's okay with that, but so there's like a comfort in. I'm that person that just puts on the same slasher over and over to help myself fall asleep. Even so, the series are more of a commitment, and I don't know that I have enough patience. But I have been getting better ever since my deep dive into Motel via Marcel's commentary.
Well, the good thing about American Horror Story, each season is its own story, so you don't have to watch every season. It's not like it's not a continuous thing over season.
Yeah, which worked out for me because I've only seen the two now. I've seen Hotel and I've seen the Kim Kardashian one. I forget what it's called.
The baby one. I forget what it's called. I enjoyed that one too.
I don't. Well. I mean, what was it called? Delicate?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh
okay, there we go. I'm safe. Marcel didn't know either.
Brute's not out yet, Tuna, but will be out in August. I've never seen any American Horror Story or Game of Thrones. Huh?
Well, nobody cares about Game of Thrones.
So, Gigi, you talked about watching slashers, so it must have been exciting for you to be in Brute 1976. A real slasher.
Oh, are you kidding? I was so thrilled, and to backpedal a little bit to Garden of Eden and how my part in Brute came about. I was sent the script for Brute 1976 before I was sent the script for Garden of Eden, and then when this investor came in and said, "Hey, we'll do anything," and Marcel, Joe, and Sarah saw the opportunity to do Garden of Eden. That came first. And then it was after we did Garden of Eden together that they decided to expand my part in Brute. And it became this Marilyn Burns, Texas Chainsaw kind of role. And I was like screaming my head off for 10 days straight. I'm so in. I had so much fun. We filmed in Vegas. It was hot. It was uncomfortable, but in the best way, especially if you're like an actor that likes to utilize what's real around you to help the performance. I loved being in the grittiness of Vegas and the hot sun. Like I couldn't have seen that going any better way because it just felt like I was so in the thick of it. Like
it felt real. There was so much. Yes, there was so much dirt and sweat, and it was real.
We were so gross at the end of every day. But I was even between takes, people would be trying to bring me water, and I'm like, no, I want to suffer. But it helps me though. I like being in the thick of it. That's the fun of it. And then at the wrap party, I will drink some water and I will let loose. But while I'm in my
let loose, have some water.
Let loose and have some water. But it was a blast, and I love Texas Chainsaw, and I love The Hills Have Eyes, which I believe was also a big inspiration to Joe in writing it and Marcel in shooting it. And I've seen both those movies obviously countless times. So I was like, I know what to do here. I understand the assignment. And I was just grateful to be a part of it.
So we got some questions here in the chat I'll get to in a second. By the way, if you're watching wherever, we're streaming many different places, but it's best if you want to chat to do it on YouTube, we can see them easier. But yeah, you mentioned Marilyn Burns, and I wrote that in my notes when I was watching the movie. I was like, it's very Marilyn Burns-esque. I mean that in a great way, because sometimes when the quote unquote scream queen, I think, doesn't sell the anguish like, well, you could take you out of the movie. But you did an amazing job, and I had this in my notes before I knew you were going to be on the show. I just thought you were really great in the movie, and really just sold it as like, this is someone going through, a lot of pain and going down into like the road of madness. It was really really well done.
Well, I have to say that she was like a fucking survivor, because like the every time she was like humping, and like how she was running, because she fucked up her foot like in the opening of the movie, and then from that on she has to like run it was just like, it was very painful just to watch. And it was like, oh, look at her, what it looks so good.
Look at this committed little actress.
Oh my God.
But it is true. I was rushing the one day to get to set. I was having like a mini wardrobe malfunction, and then I couldn't find my socks. And I was like, that's fine. I don't need my socks. But I didn't even consider the type of shoes that I was wearing, being in the desert and running and limping for like take after take. And my toes were just shredded. I looked like a ballerina. I looked like Ana de Armas in Ballerina, or any other movie where you see people with fucked up toes.
Yeah.
But it makes it real for me. Like I enjoy it. Like, even I think Maya, one of our PAs, came over like, would you like a Band-Aid? And I was like, no, I want to suffer. I want a Band-Aid later. Like, a lot of the times at lunch, I wouldn't even eat if I knew that I had a day that I was going to be very emotional for a while, because I just wanted it to be as uncomfortable as possible.
It paid off. Honestly, not to see her, I thought you were really great in the movie.
Thank you.
Every day, I mean, I think every single day there was at least one scene she had to scream. Like, there was like, it was, she never had a day off like not screaming. That's
true.
Never.
Do you prepare for that? Like, do you scream? Yeah, that sounds weird, but like at home, I don't mean you're just screaming for the hell of it, but like to get ready for the movie, do you practice how you're going to scream? And you mentioned Marilyn Burns. Are there any other inspirations?
Oh, a ton of inspirations. I mean, I love Jamie Lee Curtis. I think she's so fantastic. Sigourney Weaver in Alien, people don't talk about her enough, but she's incredible, or in terms of like scream queens.
Yeah.
But Marilyn Burns, I mean, I think I connect with her because of how intense she was the entire time, that it does feel real. And also just knowing that they had no money when they did the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And, we know what it's like to try to make a really good movie on a shoestring budget. And so the way that she submerged herself and sold it, I wanted to go in with the same mentality. So the way that I prepare, I do not practice screaming. I do drink a ton of...
Her scream is just perfect. It's
a
perfect scream. There is not, you can't, I don't think you can prepare that or learn that. I think you have it or you don't. And she has it.
I will say I've never practiced screaming. Like, I've done some voiceover work and like practiced cartoon characters, but I have not practiced screaming. I just drink a lot of water to make sure that I stay lubricated. And even though I am super hot and we're sweating and losing moisture, I want to make sure I have enough water in my body to keep mustering up like tears and keep that intensity and the emotions going the entire time. But really the only preparation is Marcel always gives references and like soundtracks. So that's how I do my preparation. And when I scream, it's just really me trying to put myself in the position of actually feeling the sheer terror, which is partially why I like to be uncomfortable. I won't really drink water between takes. If there's a heavy lunch, no matter how tasty it is, I will save a plate for later, because I think what comes out when I'm screaming, it is pretty real. So like you can't really practice that. You just have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And I didn't even realize that I was good at it until a couple of movies ago. And now people are like, oh, the girl who screams. And, I'll take it.
Nasty Meal for $2. Hey, Gigi, any directors, actors you refuse to work with?
Oh, this is time. None off the top of my head. I mean, I think we all have our secret do not hire list. I will not expose that on this podcast. But
Fair enough.
Like insane, vendettas or beefs that I would honestly any beef, it's one-sided. I stay peaceful. I've got 3 cats. I'm fine. So yeah, I mean, nothing that comes to my mind, and people that I absolutely will not work with. I'm always open. I'm open to working with new people, anybody that's positive and does good work. I mean, I always want to be a part of that, and I give everybody a chance. So there's no one that I have like written off that I could completely expose in this very moment.
Yeah, no, honestly, that's also good advice for people out there, because people don't want anyone that's like dramatic, to work with.
Well, I can be a little dramatic. I am an actress. But anyway.
So back to Garden of Eden. Robert Russler, who I'm a big fan of, is always entertaining in anything, I think.
He is.
And so he was great in the movie. And his scene, there's a scene near the end with him, which I don't want to spoil, but this was unlike, and I don't think I've ever seen a scene like this in a movie. And it has to be seen for any horror fans out there.
Oh, great. So that's fantastic.
Yeah. Go on, sorry. I was just wondering, like, when you're filming something like really gruesome, what's like the vibe on set?
I do remember this scene really well, because he, I mean, I don't want to say what I'm trying to talk around it a little bit, but so that scene, everyone knew that's the end of the movie, and it has to be something. And he was kind of a little bit worried, so because it's like, Marcel, I don't know, I don't know if I should do it or not. I don't know if I can go back to church anymore, blah, blah, blah. So it was like a whole thing. And then he had a talk with Anthony Hopkins.
Oh, wow.
He's like, hey, there's this scene, and he explained what it is, and da-da-da-da-da. And then and Anthony Hopkins was like, you know what, Robert? You should do it. And then he's like, okay, well, he was still not sure. So he talked to me, he talked to Joe, he talked to pretty much everyone on set. And I told him, look, girl, we just like, let's shoot the scene, let's see, and then let's see how you feel, and da-da-da-da-da, and then just let's go step by step. Okay, day 10. We're setting up the scene. Everything is like ready to go. And he starts with his whole thing, putting the makeup on, and he does the other stuff. Then he lays down on the table, and then after, and I don't want to spoil it, but
yeah, I don't either.
Watching the monitor, and then the moment was there when he was like, Marcel, give me the cross, and everyone froze, and it's like, and then I was like, he's doing it, and I jumped off, and I grabbed the cross, and I run over, and I told Gustini, get ready, he's doing it, and then Robert was on the table, and he was like, gave me his hand, and then I crossed his hand, and then everything happened, and I will never forget. Katie, our makeup girl, she was like in front of the monitor with her phone, and everything happened, and he did his whole thing, and then I yelled cut, and then she turned around and was like, I'm traumatized. And I was like, okay. Yeah,
that's interesting too. I didn't know like Robert's a religious guy, so I don't
think he's religious. I mean, maybe,
but just the idea of going to
after this movie, nobody is anymore. But it's I think here's the thing: everyone had a weird moment on set, or like going to set, or before start shooting, or after shooting. Everyone had a weird moment with something. Gigi had a weird moment. Cell had a weird moment with. You can tell that if you want, Gigi. But it's and then I'm sure he had also something, or he told me something. He told me something about like he went to church before start shooting the movie, and then some weird stuff, whatever. But yes, I think I don't think he's religious, but yeah.
He's not anti. All right, that's fair enough. So, what was your weird experience, Gigi? If you want to mention it.
So without entirely spoiling the scene, which I think I may have already kind of done, so, I had
at the end, Gigi, the scene is on Bloody Disgusting.
It's out. Oh yeah, that was an exclusive. More than anything, this is good. Okay, so I was just walking. Filming had began. It was a day off. I had not shot my scene yet, and I'm walking, and I get stopped by these people in uniforms asking if they could have a moment to inform me about abortion and get me to sign some sort of I don't know I forget exactly what they were doing, but it was some sort of volunteer like support group, and they were asking me to sign up. And I got so spooked by it, I just like looked at them and turned and like kept walking. And then I took the photo, and I was like, and I was like, Marcel, you know,
what happened.
People just stopped me to talk to me about abortion, like, and it just felt
Was it the day of that scene, or like did we shot the scene the next day? It was very close.
Yeah, it was like during the shoot, but one of my days off, but I hadn't filmed that scene yet.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, oh my gosh, like this is such a topic right now. I just wanted to make sure that like I did a good job, but no one in my
they found the right person.
It was insane, because that has never happened to me in my life. Has anyone stopped me to discuss abortion with me and asked, what are your thoughts? What are your beliefs? Who do you agree with? I was just like, I gotta go. But it was just very strange energy. And a lot of us did have those experiences. There's so much infectious energy surrounding this movie. And I think part of it is because we were all very committed to it from in front of and behind the camera. We were all committed to our characters, the story, the greater purpose of, you know, what the message was beyond the gore. And I just think it was so infectious, and like we were all like attracting like weird experiences. And it was really, really insane. And I think I still have the photo on my phone. I literally screenshot like, the yellow tops, and I was like, Marcel, these people are recruiting me for their cause. And I'm so I can't.
You have to go show them the movie now.
Exactly. I should have got their Instagram.
Send them a link.
There we go.
Nasty Meal sent $2. Would you work with Harvey Weinstein or Mel Gibson?
Well, the first, that's a given. I mean,
yeah, I think that. I think we.
I mean, Harvey Weinstein is not even in business anymore, right?
No, I don't know. Yeah, that would be very strange if you would.
No, like obviously there are very obvious non-negotiables. So if that's what our listener was referring to. I mean, there's plenty of canceled people that I'd like for them to stay that way, that I have no intention of reviving them by taking an opportunity, nor do I see them getting the opportunity for anyone to back any projects that they are doing with. So those are non-negotiables. So Mel Gibson, did he do something bad that I don't know about, or is that just a random?
Yeah, it was. I think he's been forgiven, but yeah, it was several years ago.
We'll put him in a box pending further research on Gigi.
Derek,
you got the new Passion of the Christ 2?
Is he doing part 2?
Yes.
Like about Easter or something? Oh,
it's a resurrection of the Christ or something.
Yes, it must be when he rises for Easter. Huh.
Yeah.
That's like one of the bloodiest movies I've ever seen in a theater. Is a Passion for the Christ. Derek Neal, for both guests any work, film or reading materials you suggest other than your own for aspiring filmmakers?
That's a good question.
Oh, that's a good question. It depends on. I think that it depends on which kind of filmmaker or what kind of genre you want to do. For me, I think that's a good one, but it's I would. I would say Martyrs is it's a masterpiece for me. I would say watch that movie if you want to do a movie like or in the same subgenre. I would say, hey, Martyrs is actually not just score and everything. There's a message behind that, so that's a good one. I think that really depends on what kind
I
of
was going to
movie
say
you want.
too. I think it also probably depends just on the person, because I think anyone can be inspired from whatever inspires
Yes,
them.
I think it comes to you whatever inspires you. That could be just an episode from a TV show. It could be a music, a song, whatever. Okay, that song inspires me a lot for whatever reason. It could be a movie from the 80s, 90s, 2000s, whenever. So I think whatever. I don't think you can tell someone, hey, watch this movie and it will help you. I think the movie comes to you and helps you.
Along those lines, Gigi, were there anything in particular that made you like, oh, I think I would like to become an actor or become a filmmaker?
Well, when I was really little, I started off acting in like plays at my church. And I actually started singing and in voice lessons first. And then I carried that into theater and just found that I loved acting a little bit more. And I did do a little bit of the child acting thing. Like I did like 5 Chuck E. Cheese commercials and fashion shows. And my brother did a show with Whoopi Goldberg. Like we were both child actors, but my parents got divorced and we lived in New Jersey at the time. And so my mom, who was a stay-at-home mom, she was homeschooling us and taking us to auditions all the time. And there was just no more. My mom had to go get a full-time job and my parents split. There was no one to do that. But my interest in, movies and acting never went away. But I did, I think, have to be pulled out of it so that I could make the conscious choice as an adult to pursue it. Because I think if you're born into it, do you really know if you love it? Or is that just kind of almost like it chose you instead of you choosing it? So I continued to watch movies and always thought about how they were made and sometimes imagined myself in them. And just something, I have no idea why, but I've always been attracted to darker things. Part of my bribes as a child for my mom to get me to go to these auditions and be pulled out of summer camp and play dates were, if you go and you do a good job or you get a call back, we will take you to FAO Shorts, which is that huge toy store.
Oh, yeah.
And I still remember my mom was like, pick out a Barbie, any Barbie you want. Ooh. And of course, there's a bunch of beautiful blonde Barbies, but there was one Bob Mackie Barbie that had this spiky black hair and this long Maleficent type cape. And I said, I want that one. My mom was like, really? How about
are you sure?
How about this one? And I'm like, no, I want this one. And
I'm a Malibu Barbie.
Exactly. But I've just always been attracted to darker things. I can't explain why, but I immediately became obsessed with horror films. I think maybe, you know what, I'm working it out in my head. I think it's because I wasn't allowed to watch them. We all want, especially coming from a religious family, we all want to see what's behind the curtain, what's under the bed. And I spent a lot of time being scared, but in a controlled environment, which is exciting. And I guess I just eventually decided I wanted to become the scare maker or be a part of it. And that's when I jumped back into class and signed with a small talent agency, wound up on some reality competition show in 2017, won some money, then moved to LA to pursue acting fully.
Yeah, you were on that John Cena show.
Yeah. So I used that to move here and pursue acting like professionally, because in New Jersey, I was like, this can only take me so far.
Yeah. I don't know if it's something you'd like to talk about or not, but how does your family feel about you working in horror films if you're from a religious family?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm being honest, I love them. They don't love that. They don't connect with these stories the same way that I do. And for me, it's funny. I mean, and I'm sure, Marcel, you get this too. When we see blood and guts on set, we're like, that's stunning. This is great. This is amazing. How disgusting and fantastic is this? Because we're seeing it for the work of art that it is, where my family is just like, this is gross. This is brutal. They don't know like what work goes into it. And, so it's just everyone views things through their lens, that is their experiences. And my parents and my family, or more so just my parents, the way they view my films is often through their lens, which just doesn't doesn't consist of the experiences that can allow them to see the beauty in it the way that I can. But I will say they are still supportive. I just learned that I can't let them watch everything. And I sent my mom a photo one time of me as a dead body, like in a morgue, like vacuum sealed, because I thought it was cool. And she called me crying and was like, "Why did you send me this?" Because I'm on set. I thought you'd think this was awesome. Like, this was really cool. She was like, "Why would you do this to me?" To them, I'd be doing like faith-based films, but they don't. That sort of storytelling for me isn't interesting. I find trauma very interesting, and the study of human behavior very interesting, which people think is all dramas, but a lot of the characters, like even in we're following a character that is going through so much trauma, and we're watching her change. And for me, that's very exciting. That's an exciting challenge. I love characters and stories that do this. And
you have an arc.
You get with horror a lot, and so that's why I love it, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's like a takeoff on the Bob Mackie Dark Sorceress Barbie, I guess.
I still have her. Have her. She's packed away somewhere.
But this is just one of those things, like another level of, I won't quite understand it, but we wish you the best.
They just had to learn that this is where I'm headed, and I don't plan on stopping. I plan on it's going to get worse.
Yeah.
So they just, they're supposed to love me.
Yeah, that's just how it is. Yeah. So I guess they haven't seen Garden of Eden in that case.
I was gonna say that's probably one I would not suggest.
Yeah.
Honestly, my dad would just lose his mind. Like he would just, but I lost my mind a long time ago, so it's fine.
Well, at least they're so supportive that you do. But in her defense, I think I could see maybe seeing a very realistic photo of your daughter, dead. That could disturb someone. If
I felt bad about it, I really did.
Yeah, I get that.
It just goes to show though the way that our minds work are so different than people that are not in this business or not accustomed to the type of stuff that we're used to seeing. And for me, I thought she would look at it through like my lens of, look how cool this looks. Look at the effect. Look how good I play dead. Like I thought she would see all the things that I see. And then I felt so bad. I had to call her and I was like, "Mom, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to upset you. I'm alive. I'm fine." I'm the most alive I've ever been. We will not let baby.
Marcel, I don't think I've ever asked you, how is your family into horror movies? Are they cool that you've pursued horror movies?
Oh, actually, my Garden of Eden is my mom's favorite movie.
Oh, really?
All the movies I've done, yeah.
Very cool.
I don't know why, but yeah. So she watched like when she was younger.
Loves that Robert Russler scene, yeah.
So she watched she was a huge horror fan in the 80s, early 90s, like huge. So. I remember I remember her VHS collection of like Zombie 2 or what's it called here in the US? Zombie, like the Lucifucci.
I think it's just called Zombie 2 here and Zombie maybe in
Zombie. So it was she had like a huge a collection and my dad. And she was recording every Friday Tales from the Crypt for me, like when I was younger. And she watched Scream the night before just to check, is that okay? And she was like, "Well, I guess it's okay." She's fine. She went to the theater and watched Scream 6. So she's not a fan, but she does watch like horror movies with me or with there's because she knew that Scream is such a big deal for me, and then that's why she went to the theater and watched Scream 6. So and Scream 5 and all that. So she will watch the new I Know What It Last Summer because I'm already freaking out. So
yeah, our Troy and I are brothers. Our mom, she's a huge horror fan, so her and her friend go and see movies, and her friend will pick out normal movies. And my mom, she took her to go see Terrifier 3, and I was like, I don't think that's a good movie to bring like your normal.
That's a level too much for my mom. So
Yeah.
That's like okay, whatever. But Terrifier is like.
Yeah. I was like, I think that one's a little over.
Yeah.
Parker Peters P. A curious fact: as far as I know, Gigi was in the movie The Retaliators. Did you meet singer Craig Mabbitt from Escape the Fate?
I did, actually. He's super nice, super down to earth. I got to meet him on set. And then also during the shoot, we did a couple of music videos just for promotion for The Retaliators. And so I'm actually in, which one? It's the one, the person who asked me, no, it's the one that Lindsay Sterling features on. There's a dead body under a sheet. That is me.
No, don't send that to your mom.
So yeah, he's really nice. Honestly, like everyone on The Retaliators was super kind. Like Jacoby Shaddix, like all these rock stars that they have this hard exterior. They were honestly so kind and really incredible to work with. And Craig was great. I didn't get to work with him directly, but we met and we hung out a little on set, and he's fantastic.
That's a really cool movie. We had the directors on when it came out.
Oh, nice. Oh, very cool.
Yeah. I have to ask this because you sent $2. Mel Gibson, would you gain weight for a role?
Oh, Lord. That's a tough one. But yeah, I mean, for the right role, for something that I was passionate about, I'm happy to transform. I haven't had to yet. I'm not dying to gain weight, but I would. Like when it comes to playing a character, there's nothing. I'd like to say there's nothing superficial about what I'll ever bring to a character. So if I had to gain weight, or even back to the Garden of Eden with the bathroom scene, I said to the makeup artist and Marcel, I said I think it makes sense to show my character with no makeup because we have to see her the most raw and vulnerable she can be. And so I'm all about.
You even said that like in Brood, like I think the whole like barn scene, there was not a lot of makeup there either. So
that's true. Oh yeah, Katie kept wanting to touch me up, and I was like, no, let me.
Yeah. So Gigi loves to like the I don't want to use the word ugly, but you like to be like, no, when she's like scared and like crying and everything, so she's not afraid of being ugly on camera for the right reason. So yeah.
I want to be real.
I'm sorry. I was going to say totally sells that role, and also the idea that time has gone past and she's been held captive. So
yeah.
Yeah,
you don't want to be too glamorous at that point.
No, honestly, I refuse touch-ups all the time, and I feel so bad. The makeup artist like, I'm just trying to do my job, and I'm like, continuity, I understand, but like this snot bubble I have going on is fantastic. Let it live. Yeah. Let it pop and drain.
Yes.
It'll look awesome. So yeah, long answer is yes. Okay, I would gain weight for a role if it was the right one, if it made sense.
What was the premiere for Garden of Eden like, to see, the finished movie for the first time with an audience? And Gigi, did you see the whole movie? Were you there for shooting of the whole movie, or were you there just for like your scenes? So I don't know if the scenes, like if when you see the whole movie, if there was stuff like you hadn't known about yet.
I mean, I knew
because you read the script
because of the script. I was mostly just there for my days, but I did pop in on a couple of days because I get excited and I like to be around. I like to see what's happening, and I knew that they were going to shoot some craziness, so I didn't want to miss out. I get FOMO, but definitely seeing it all pieced together on a big screen. Even if you are there for the shoot, you still don't really know how it's
going to different. Yeah.
No, so it's still exciting, even for my stuff that I was there for. You don't know how it's going to be pieced together and where it's going to be and how it's going to feel in the grand scheme of the entire movie. And I mean, I'm sure if you guys are filmmakers, you know this, and Marcel, you know this, there's the movie you write, the movie you shoot, and the movie you edit. And there's always something that's a little bit different. So in a sense, it's surprising and exciting every single time.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember the screening there, like a lot of people left. I do remember that. And we never had that before or after. That was only Garden of Eden. And I was like, is it maybe because it's too long, or is it too fucked up? So I don't know. So because at the end it is a 2 hour and 15-minute movie, but and but it's like I think there's like some people left at weird moments, and I was like, oh shit. And it was not like 2 people or 3 people. It was like at least 30 people or something.
I was like, losers.
It feels weird as the filmmaker, and then you see all the people like, oh, well, bye. But it's on the other hand, it was like, well, I mean, they did laugh when they're like a priest showed his dick. So I mean, okay, I get it.
Yeah, in the movie, folks, it wasn't it wasn't a priest in the theater, as far as I know. Yeah.
Poor Marcel just sees all the people walking out. Yeah. He's fine, drinking his Coke. It's fine. You know what? At least it made people feel something. People won't forget it.
That's for sure. Yeah, I remember I got some messages from people who left, and they wrote me after. And yeah, Marcel, I'm sorry, I couldn't. That was too much and all that, but not from everyone. I mean, maybe some left because it was like, oh, that's too long. I can't sit for 2 hours and 15 minutes. But also, like, I got, like from some scenes. Yeah. Yeah.
I really like Garden. I like both movies. Garden of Eden's very weird, which I like very strange movies. And it was way more graphic than I thought. And there was a lot of stuff I had not seen before, not just the Robert Ressler scene. There's a fishing scene, which I was like, I've never seen anything like this in a movie. And it was so weird. And is there ever anything Joe Netter writes that you're like, we can't film this for either? I just don't want to film this. Or
that was the ending. I talked to him and like, should we I mean, I'm okay with cutting it off and putting it on this, but doing everything after, do we need this? And and he's like, you know what we should do? And I'm like, yeah, it's who? And I was like, you know what, yeah. At this point, it doesn't matter anymore.
That's amazing.
Mel Gibson, another $2. Well, thank you for the $2 super chats, Mel Gibson. Have you ever had a director behave inappropriately with you?
Only now. Oh, I thought you
that's even especially worse that I'm your brother.
I know, exactly. Makes it even weirder.
Sorry, I have a message that's like popping up on my laptop that won't go away. So it's okay. Worries. Marcel, I can't see your face, but I can see everyone else's.
Oh no.
You know my face.
That's true. I know what you look like. Okay. Anyway, question. Has anyone, that was for me?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah,
I think so.
I think so.
I guess that makes sense. Good question, Gigi. Very obvious. I mean, yes. Short answer. It happens. You just don't work with them again. You know, that's how it goes. I'm not willing to like out anybody like on the.
Sure. I think that's a good way to go.
You know, but I would be very. But I what I do is I encourage anyone, and this is not just female, but male too, or whatever you identify as. Like, you should always do your research before you work with a new team. I always reach out. I reached out to Sarah Nicklin, who's in Garden of Eden. She was in Pretty Boy. And so I had heard nothing but great things about Marcel, but I hadn't worked with him yet or that team. And I did reach out to her. I said, how was your experience working with Marcel and the Pretty Boy gang? And she said how amazing it was. And so even though everyone has their own experiences, I think just the way to prevent something like that is just by doing your research and finding out about people before you take a job and sign on.
Yeah, that's why you see a lot of people when you find people you like to work with, why they continue, like Marcel's group. And it's not only just like, oh, these are talented people, but it's people you like to be around and people that you trust.
For sure.
Is the big thing. Like you were talking about, like, running and hurting your foot and stuff. You probably wouldn't have done all that stuff if you weren't working with someone that you really trusted and believed in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, 1,000%. You cannot, there's no way to do your best work with the team that you do not trust. I mean, even as a performer, there's so many moving pieces that can either help you or hinder you as a performer. And, the way that it's shot, the way that it's edited, like the energy on set, the way it's directed, like there's so many pieces that have to come together to either hold up a performance to support it, or it can do the opposite. So of course, if I'm going to give everything I have, which I will always give everything I have, I need to know that it's in the hands of people who care and like-minded creatives. So I've always felt very comfortable on Marcel's sets that, one, we can try things and fail. It's cool to try things and experiment and see what happens. It's a safe space for that. And a lot of the times that's where magic happens. And I do sometimes improv or throw things out. But also just, trusting the story. Like when I sign on to something, it's because I trust the team and I trust the story, and I'm going to do everything to do it justice and do the character and the story a service. And you want to make sure that everybody there is there for the same reason. And if they are, it's a safe space. And I just feel like that's where everyone can do their best work. So It's very important. I'm pretty picky these days. I used to sign on for a lot, but I'm no longer doing resume builders. I'm doing projects that I think are going to advance me, and I'm working with people that I actually really want to work with, because as much as I want to advance, I want to have fun and I want to have a good experience, and I want us all to be proud of what we've done. So I've been a little bit more particular, and I just think that the more important thing to get out of the question that was asked about have I worked with people that, have made me feel uncomfortable or anything, is just to do your research to avoid that. And that is why people like even Scorsese uses the same group of people and everything.
Yeah, I always say independent groups, but it's really everybody, they have their group of people that they work with.
Yeah, and you just know what it's going to be, and you can trust it. And everyone is there for the same purpose, to support one vision under a director that makes it very clear and makes it a positive environment. And that's just the type of projects that everybody should do. That's what I think.
Well, because I always think about even like in a big, crazy, huge movie, like Roy Kinnear. I remember seeing in an interview with him that he didn't trust the people that had made the Three Musketeers and the Four Musketeers. And then when he died making the Return of the Musketeers? And so like it's a huge movie, and nobody paid any attention at all, and his horse fell on ice and killed the poor guy. And it's kind of eerie when you look back at the interview when he's like, yeah, I don't really trust anybody here because nobody cares. They just let the madhouse run the asylum. It's just kind of crazy. And then the poor guy ended up dying during the movie. So there's something to be said with working with people you trust.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Brute 19
dark tangent. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. I mean, Brute 1976 is a pretty dark movie. And this is kind of like your roots, Marcel, because you did a lot of slashers early on. So when Joe writes a slasher, what's what's your what do you think of that? Like, oh, this is something I'd like to do.
Oh no, absolutely, yeah. Like Brood was in our minds for a while now. Like for actually a couple of years before we had a chance to shoot it. So no, he's great with slashers because that's also one of his favorite subgenre, and he loves the 80s, he loves the 70s. I'm 80s and 90s girls. So I think we're both really good with that. And there was nothing I really wanted to change after his script because he put everything in there. It was very much what I love about Hills Have Eyes, Texas Chainsaw, and everything. We call it our version of a Texas Chainsaw movie. So yeah.
Yeah, and I like that you referenced Texas Chainsaw in the movie, so you're not shying away from the comparisons.
I mean, come on. At the end, it's very well. It's not you think it's like a is it like Texas Chainsaw really? But I don't think that there's a problem with that. Look at all the from the 90s. After Scream, everything was like Scream.
Yeah, 100%.
The biggest problem I have, all the latest Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies are not a Texas Chainsaw movie. You know what I mean?
Something I always bring up is the biggest disappointment for me in any of they always just fixate on Leatherface and not the family.
Yep.
And the whole family is what make those movies unique and interesting, because Leatherface by himself's not really that interesting of a character.
And I was
Yeah,
so, and I don't want to say it, but it's like, at this point, it doesn't matter. So I was so disappointed about the new Texas Chainsaw movie, because that felt like, what in the name of God happened? So for me, it's like the Texas Chainsaw remake and the beginning are actually like, that's a perfect example for how a Texas Chainsaw movie should be. The family is there. It could be a little bit more crazy, but it is what it is. So it's more a mainstream movie, but the family is there. The cast is hot, on point, everything, you know, and then there's the new one, and then, you know, I mean, and they were like, but I mean, everyone has a different taste, and I guess it has its fan base, but whatever. So what we try to do is like make our own version of what would we do if we would have the chance to do a Texas Chainsaw movie.
Yeah, because I thought it was interesting. I think even like some of the family members are different aspects of, like, for example, Daisy, the Daisy character, Jed's character is really like, if you would amplify a certain aspect of Leatherface, like the cross-dressing trans aspect of Leatherface. So that became its whole own character, which I thought was really interesting. And Jed's great in the movie.
Jed is fantastic. I think it's his best part, and like his best role. I agree. Nailing it. He's fantastic. And I can't wait for, like, I mean, people have to watch the first, like, 76 first, but at one point when they see 86, oh God.
Oh, I'm very excited that he's in this. Yes.
Yeah.
So, Gigi, when you find out you're in this movie and you're going to be the Marilyn Burns, you know, kind of character, were you excited? Like, what did you think of the script?
Oh, super excited. I liked the script the first time around. And then after Garden of Eden, Marcel had told me that Joe was going to send me a new version. And I didn't know that the new version was going to be my character expanded. He's like, just read it and let me know what you think. And so Joe sends it my way, and I'm reading it, and I'm like, wait a second, I was supposed to die on like page 15, but I'm still here. And I continued to read it. And by the end of it, just loved what they did. I know that Joe wouldn't add anything that didn't make sense for the story. So I was just very excited that there was a way to expand my character that made sense and served the story. And I was just
such a great, like, it's because now we had like two stories like going on to the same time. And that is, I think that those moments he wrote that so well, like they fit so well together. It's just perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved the new version, and I think Joe was like, if you'd still like to do it, and I was like, do I still want to do it? Like,
what are you talking about? This is better.
What do you mean? I'm like, I'm literally in my head already on set. I'm in. So I was thrilled. I was thrilled.
Yeah.
So I assume Marcel, like after you worked with Gigi on Garden of Eden, you're like, she's up to do more. Is like how did the idea like for her character do?
No, I think that happened when Joe and I like saw that how she was like her role in Garden of Eden was not like big, but she put so much work and like everything she did on set was just the performance and everything was just like really perfect. And that's when we decided to give her like a bigger thing. And so that's she got then like through 76, and then I can't say anything else. So yeah.
Do you know why he picked 1976, Joe? Do you know why he picked the year 1976? Of all the,
I mean, we wanted something 70s, and I think he's born 76.
I thought because I think me and him are actually the same age, because I'm born in 76 too.
Yeah, no, I think he's born in 76. Yeah, and then luckily we got 86, which is my birthday year.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
Also, next year's a big year for both of us, because I turned the 50 and you turned, Not to bring
remind
attention
him.
to this.
Don't remind him.
As soon as
talking
I
about this.
started that, Gigi, I was like, I know I shouldn't bring this up. This is fine.
Yeah.
This is a bad thing to mention to anybody. But yeah.
Yeah.
So the locations in both movies are great. I didn't bring up like the costumes in Garden of Eden are awesome. And same thing with Brute 1976. Like, did you have any in mind, like to begin with? Like, we know we have like an abandoned plane somewhere. We know we have a tunnel, or was it just you guys had to go and scout for locations?
I mean, Joe shot a movie there before, and he told me, Marcel, I have the perfect location for it. Then I went on a vacation to Vegas, and I did a road trip to the location and filmed everything, and he wrote the script around this location. So we knew already. We talked to the owners. We knew, okay, this is the location. This is where we want to shoot the movie, and he wrote everything around that. So yeah, and then I mean, yeah, and the wardrobe is like just 70s, you know.
Marcel does all the wardrobe.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, great job, honestly.
Oh,
and
yeah.
because I've done
my little passion on the side. I love doing. I love being Lord of Wardrobe. So.
Lord of Wardrobe.
I like that. That's a good title to have.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cheap plug. My first film, End Zone 2, was set in 1970. So I know, we had to get, wardrobe and make sure everything is like from that era. So what's like the hardest part to make sure, like, we keep this in this era? We keep it 1976.
I mean, it's hard, like especially in the indie world on a lower budget movie. It's hard to find, or you can't do anything super crazy, because like if you go like, oh, let's have a scene in the city or here and there, whatever, which is then there's where the money comes in. So you have to change the buildings probably, or the cars around and everything. But if you're in a isolated area like a ghost town, it's pretty easy to do that. So Joe took care of like radios and even knives or like keychain, everything. Everything was pretty much from the 70s, like little cans they used. For me, I was like just looking around that screen 70s, and yeah. 80s
Gigi,
were more fun though, I have to say that.
you're taking over for the 80s.
Now I can play. Yeah.
A lot of neon and stuff. So
yeah. That was actually one of my favorite looks from Gigi in '86.
Oh, I do love my 86 look.
I'm very excited for this.
That's exciting. Marcel always crushes it, and I always wind up wanting to take my wardrobe home. I'm like, I'm gonna take these shoes, Marcel. He's like, go for it. I'm like, I'm gonna take this too. He's like, that's fine. I won't tell anyone. I'm like, good, because I also took that.
So do you still have your any of the wardrobes from this Brute 76?
I have like a lot of here. Yeah.
Marcel's got all my. I jacked the shoes from Garden of Eden. I did sparkly little.
Yes.
He wants them back.
Thigh-high boots. Oh, well, I won't give them back. But yeah, 76 Marcel has mostly everything. So I can go if I ever go to his house and I need it.
Yeah, and if she has to go to a 70s party, no problem.
I have something. And backups and doubles. So we're set.
Did Joe, like, besides like the obvious ones like Hills Have Eyes and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, did he recommend like any movies to watch just to get like the feel of like a 70s gritty horror movie?
I think no, that's that's the two, and it's not even like I'm not a huge fan of the original Hills Have Eyes, but but I'm a huge fan of the remake. The remake is
that is one of them. That is a good remake, isn't it?
Fantastic. So, yeah, I think no.
I don't think Troy's a big fan of the original Hills Have Eyes either.
Certain parts of it, but not the whole thing.
I'm a fan, but yeah.
I mean, it's a classic now, but I think the remake made it a classic.
No. Baby fat, you fat, fat and juicy. I like that. I'm a fan of the movie. But, Parker Peters P. Gigi is amazing. By the way, in the video image, she looks like singer Jenna McDougall from Tonight Alive. I've been following Craig Babbitt's work for years. He's incredible.
Nice.
I don't know who that is, but thank you very much.
I'm not sure either. So hopefully, hopefully I posted something good there. It wasn't like we'll look up later. Like, whoa, I don't want to look like that.
Well, gracias, listener.
Yeah. So amazing masks in Brute 1976. Everyone's very unique looking, but also feels like they would all be part of the same group. And so how much is that? Like in the script, does he explain like how he wants like each of the masks to look?
No, that was pretty much all Robert Kern. So he designed all the masks. The only thing we told him to do is it's the Birdie family and everything should be bird themed. So there is always something like feathers or like a bird skull, something like that. Except Brutus, which is just pretty much just meat strapped around his face. So yeah.
As a wrestling fan, and Gigi was on the John Cena show, so I don't know if she's a wrestling fan or not. But there's a great wrestling death scene in the movie, which I was happy to see.
Yes, I learned a lot from that day. What this was, I think was it a camel clutch toe? Something?
Yes, it was. It was a body slam and then a camel clutch. Yeah, I'm surprised you know this.
Yeah,
right? The camel clutch.
No, it's like Bishop. He was a professional wrestler before, like many years ago, or still or some years ago, and his scene partner Ben Kaplan, he took some wrestling classes. So both are like, hey, we can do this. And I'm like, oh, great. So yeah. And it's funny how many people actually who like reviewed the movie point that out. Hey, that's a wrestling move. That's great.
That's awesome.
And like, oh, well, great. That was Joe's idea though. So it's like, hey, okay,
there really is a big
like both can do that. And like, sure.
Yeah, there is really a big crossover audience between wrestling fans.
And I was surprised. I was like, "Oh, okay, girls, there's a fan base."
So you mentioned, some, this was a physical role for you, Gigi. So, did you know that going in, it was going to be so physical?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was on the page, so I knew that there was going to be a lot of running and screaming, and I saw Raquel. Can I say the F word?
Yeah, you can say anything like that.
I was going to say, Raquel like fucks up her foot. I mean, it's not what is written, but something like that. So I know, okay, I'm going to be limping for the rest of the film, and yeah, I knew where we were filming, and I just loved all of it. I knew it was going to be a physically demanding role, an emotionally demanding role, but that's all the more reason for why I wanted to do it. So.
The closing track, I had to look it up afterwards because it really fits the movie. I thought where did that come from? Did you know the band, or it's like Everybody Wants to Die, the closing track?
Oh, no, that Joe found that song, so he found it because we needed something 70s and we didn't have the money for Lynyrd Skynyrd or whatever. So so he found that online, and I mean, it fits.
It does fit, and I assume that I'll say the glory hole scene. That's not too much of a spoiler, and I think if people know it's a horror movie, it probably doesn't end well in a glory hole in a horror film. I assume that's a really fun scene, though, to watch with an audience.
Oh, that was fantastic at the screening. It's like. I even have a video somewhere where everyone in the theater was like, oh. So no, that was I think that's the scene, the gore scene of the movie. So yeah, everyone was like.
And I was also happy to see a man on fire scene. I don't see those too often anymore in modern movies.
Yeah, and that's like, that was a pretty, I don't want to say a last minute thing, but one of our actors, we were on set and it's like, oh, by the way, I do fire stunts. And we're like, okay. Like,
That's funny. Yeah, Joe came up to me and goes, hey, you know, there are a couple of changes made it for your opening. Here you go. And he tosses me the pages. I'm like, oh, okay, look at it. It's like, Raquel sets this man on fire. And I'm like, oh.
That's one of my favorite things actually about Gigi in this movie. Her parts got bigger and bigger. She got more stuff to do, like over this, like the shoot of the movie, planning the movie, like, because she mentioned like first it was just like her opening kill, pretty much, and then it got extended to like through the whole movie actually, and then she got this another part of like setting this man on fire. It's like, hey, great.
I was like, I'm such a lucky bitch. I was like, keep them coming. Hand me pages. I don't care. I'll set whoever on fire, whatever.
That's one of my favorite things actually about the opening. There is like, at one point, there is so much happening, and there is like one killer after another killer showing up, and then we have like 5 killers in the opening. Like, what is going on?
Where was the tunnel? Because the tunnel itself is pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, it was great. Trust me, after a whole day in the sun, this was fantastic going into the fucking mine.
Yeah.
That was right there. So we never had like really a company move or anything. So it's like we're here and we stay here for like 2 weeks and that's it. Yeah.
What was it like acting in the tunnel, Gigi?
I liked it. I mean, it was gloomy. It was creepy, like actually. Yeah. And after spending like 9 days in the hot sun, it was nice for it to be a little bit cooler. And I had never gotten to shoot in a tunnel or anything like that before. So it was just a lot of fun. But I think there was a couple scenes where I'd be like running and I'd be running for like too long. And Marcel's like, no, Gigi, cut. And I'm like almost like at the end of this like tunnel, God knows where. It was a lot of fun. I think that was probably one of my favorite days. And we shot that whole opening in one day.
Oh, wow. Because like, as Marcel said, there's a lot of stuff going on in that scene.
Actually, it's how long is it? 11 minutes, 10 minutes or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and it's like that was a lot to do. We had the whole car breakdown, then them walking to the town, then going to the mine, and then exploring the mine. So and then the whole there was like just a lot, and then you need a team who's on point, actors who know their lines, and you need like just a team who is prepared for a day like that. And we had a fire stunt.
Yeah, throw that on top of I don't even know how we shot all of that.
Yeah, it's a lot for one day.
People like, you shot that in one day, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure we did. And I think back, I'm like, no, we did.
And was the last day.
And it was the last
day. Yeah, the opening was the last day of.
Okay, I was gonna say it was the first day, but like, oh, we're gonna finish this movie in 5 days.
Well, the first day was the first day was actually all the scenes like when they drive with the bus and then they stop and walk out of the bus and it was fucking raining in the desert on the first day.
Oh no!
From all the days in Vegas, it's raining. You can't tell on screen at all, thank God. But it's that could fuck up like an indie production who's not used or who doesn't have like a big studio in the back. It's like, no problem. We skip the day and do it tomorrow. We have 1 million more, no problem. So this is not how it works. So you have to work around that. I'm sure you've seen Wolf Creek, right? So there's the whole scene when it's raining, that was not planned. So they had to, and they didn't have the money to reshoot or to plan on the other day. So they had to shoot this that day and work into like the dialogue. Oh, it's raining, you know? Yeah.
That's what's.
Thank God you can't tell.
See, that's what I almost forgot. Is it was already such an ambitious shoot, but you're filming outside. There's no overtime when the sun is down. It's not shooting anymore. It's like
everything is daytime in Brood 76. There's not one single nighttime shoot. There's like that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to have like a horror movie. Everything was set during the day. So it starts in the morning and it ends at one point at night then. But everything happens during the day, and so we didn't have there was no overtime. Like Chichi just said, it's you have to start at 7 a.m. or like whenever 6 a.m. set everything up, and then you're done at 6 or something like that. That's it.
Is that harder to shoot a horror movie that way because you can't like hide things in shadows?
Yes, it is harder. So there was way more to look around, and it's actually harder to light to a proper light. But Marcus and his whole team, they were great. But it's just harder. But also, you think it might be easier, and because you think you don't need light, but you do. So it's not easier. It's actually harder. Like all the nighttime stuff in Brood 86 was way easier to shoot, and it was also not hot or but that's what I like about Brood 76. It's you can feel the heat, you can feel the sweat, you can feel the fucking dirt in your face.
And if you're going to make your own Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, you need that because the original one has all the stories about how awful it was. It was so hot
and summer and everything. Yes.
Bobby wants to know how is Caroline Williams to work with, Marcel?
Oh, I worked with her like twice, and she's great. 3 times actually. I mean, we don't want to talk about C2, but it happened. So, so she was in. That was the first time I worked with her in C2, and then Blood Feast, and she was amazing in Blood Feast. So that's
when me and you first started to talk was for Blood Feast.
Yes. So that was when she had like a way bigger role, and she was so good and so easy on set. And then we had her in Blind. Yes. So she's great. And she's
oddly enough, she messaged me on Instagram today. She has something coming out once they come back on later in the year. So it's an odd coincidence. Yeah.
Yeah. No, she's great. I love Caroline, and she's great, and she's an icon. She's in Texas Chainsaw 2. I mean, hello, and Leprechaun 3.
Yeah. And the remake of Blood Feast.
And the remake of Blood Feast.
So Brute 1986, it's already filmed.
Yes, it's done. It's done. It's done actually. So, but we want to put like the focus now on 76.
Yeah, of course.
It was always the plan to do 76, 86 together, and then see where it goes because we have plans. So we already have plans for space. So
you're an 80s and 90s guy. Maybe there'll be Brute 90s.
The 90s one is like. So this is we have the story for 96. Everything is pretty much ready to go for 96. Yeah.
And we're gonna do another Brute 1976 cast interview when the movie is released. So that's gonna have Sarah French and Jed and some other people on. So we're looking forward to that too. They're great people. We've had them on many times.
Oh yeah. The whole
Brute 19. So 1976 will come out in August, I believe. And
yes,
Garden
it's like, there's a limited theatrical run, like I think mid-August.
So it'd definitely be a really fun movie to see
where and what's going on. And then I think the 27th or something, there's like the VOD and everything. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then there's something in October. I don't think I can talk about it, but I'm very excited about that.
Interesting. So I think any movie's best seen in the theater, but especially horror movies though. So Brute 1976 definitely would be a fun experience.
I agree. I mean, I'm sure every single filmmaker is saying that about his own movie, but after seeing it on like the premiere in the theater, it's the location and the shots. and the sound and music and everything. It was just
that's another, the music, because there's a lot
it
of
felt
like
right to
Americana
be on the big
music.
screen. So yeah.
Yeah.
And I also, Gigi, can you tell us about Stiletto?
Oh, oh God. Well, we did sell the movie. We haven't announced our distro yet, but it will be coming out early next year.
Okay.
So much to say. What's your specific question regarding
Well,
Stiletto?
first of all, well, first of all, what is Stiletto about?
Stiletto is about it's basically about a girl who is looking to get revenge on the serial killer that took her sister's life. So my character starts working at the club where her sister was killed, and tries to replicate what her sister is and what draws in the killer, so she can draw in the killer herself to hopefully take him down and get revenge for her sister. So it's a slasher in a strip club, but it has themes of like loss and sibling grief and redemption. So it has some heart to it, but ultimately it's also just a lot of fun. And it's who doesn't like seeing a killer with a foot fetish? He collects the stilettos of his victims. And
Quentin Tarantino will love it.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Oh, 1,000%. Maybe he'll give me a quote. I don't know. Nothing is impossible. But yeah, and I pulled that from personal experience that has been my nighttime job for some time. And I funded the movie entirely off of cash that I made working at the club. And you'd be surprised how many men have foot fetishes. So that kind of helped me craft who the killer is. And I just wanted him to be a representation of all of the danger, but also the scrutiny and the bias that dancers and the sex work community face, like as a community. So I felt really compelled to tell that story. And to be honest, Brute 1976 is the largest role that anyone has ever given me. And it that gave me the confidence to feel as though I was able to be a scream queen and a final girl maybe, and carry my own movie. So I decided to merge my two worlds. I know the slasher genre, or I know the horror genre super, super well. I've seen pretty much every slasher from like the 50s till now. And the strip club is just a world that I know. And so I just decided to, I don't know, go all in and put everything I've made, take the dollars from the stage and put them on the screen. And Marcel has heard me vent about it, the ups and downs, for about 1.5 years. So I can't wait till it's out and we're able to celebrate. But it's like slasher central over here right now.
Yeah, I think scream queen is a term that's like overused. I think anyone that's in a horror movie, they say scream queen, but not I'm not trying to be nice or anything, but I think you definitely warrant that moniker from Brute 1976, because you really sell the horror in the movie, and I think that's a overlooked thing, because sometimes if people aren't really selling the anguish or going through, I think it could take you out of the movie.
Oh, no doubt. Well, thank you, because I some people don't like being called a scream queen. Yeah. For me, though, I think it's the utmost honor. So I appreciate it, but I'm with you. Like, I think some people don't know how to differentiate a scream queen from a final girl. It's the same, and it's not. So I do consider myself to be more, I mean, I don't like to consider myself to be anything, but if I were to, between the two, I'd consider myself more of a scream queen than I were a final girl, even if I were to survive, because I just feel like that's what I do. I scream.
In many ways, Marilyn Burns is both, actually, in section.
Yeah.
But like Ripley is really a final girl, I would say.
For sure. Agreed. I mean, hey, both. I mean, double whammy. That's gangster. But if I were to be one, I enjoy taking the audience on an emotional, tragic experience.
And so you wrote Stiletto. Was that the first feature script you wrote?
So I have a story by credit on Stiletto. So I came up with the story. I crafted a lot of the characters. A lot of the scenes are mine, but I actually hired an Emmy-nominated writer to write the script for me and just gave him all of my ideas. And he would send me like 10, 15 pages at a time, and I would adjust. And there are a lot of things that I added last minute just because, although he's a great writer, he doesn't have the research that I do. I spent years
personal experience. Yeah.
So I had to add a lot to it, but I am not the sole writer. I'm more so.
Okay, no, that's cool. I'm glad you give him credit, though. Yeah.
Well, I want him to have his accolades, but I am pretty proud of a couple of my kills that I came up with. They're completely inspired by the chaoticness of working at a strip club. So, you know, when life gives you lemons, this movie is my lemonade.
A serious question, though, because you mentioned, you know, some people look down on sex work. We actually had a guest on a couple weeks ago who also uses on OnlyFans, and she said, you know, on her social media that there are people who look down on her in the indie world, and much like you guys, but she works with people that, you know, she trusts and she likes them. But has that ever been an issue for you in movies? Like, has anyone like, we don't want to hire you because of that?
No, I believe that people do have that experience, which I think is incredibly unfair. I haven't witnessed it myself. It has been a concern of mine. Like I kept it very quiet for a very long time. I was just worried that if people knew that I already look a certain way, sound a certain way, I didn't want to be put in an even tinier box that I was already put in by, like, I'm already the ditzy blonde. They find that out. Now I'm the slutty ditzy blonde. And so I kept that part of my life secret, and worried of how it could affect how people would perceive me. And that then in their mind, that meaning that I can only play a certain type of character. That was my concern, which is why I kept it quiet. And honestly, doing Stiletto, it gave me the confidence to speak about my story and how it was done. And it's not just a movie about, like, you know, sex work or strippers. It's to me, it's a movie about humans. They just happen to work in a strip club. But for me, it's really just, I think the story is independent filmmaking. Like, that's truly independent. There are these projects where they get investors that give them $10 million. And because it doesn't come from an actual studio, they call it independent. But I think independent is picking up dollars until you have 400,000 of them and putting it on a screen. So for me, I feel very empowered by the way that I made my money and made my movie. And I also think that Honora has been helpful. I will say it's good timing to do a stripper slasher now that slashers are having, like, a resurgence.
Yeah,
making money, and audiences are so open to, like, fresh ideas right now and indie films. And, you know,
because we actually starting to have, like, new, it used to be, you know, it's Jason, Leatherface, Michael Myers, but now we actually have new iconic slashers. You know, we've Art the Clown.
So nice to see him. Yeah.
I will say Terrifier being an independent slasher, making $80 million, and Honora, a movie about a sex worker, winning 8 Oscars. I will say it is a good time for people to be extra receptive to my project. So I think I am lucky that I'm in a time that I'm being more honest about that part of my life at a time that people are really embracing, like, sex work and also sex positive projects and movies and just independent films in general. So yeah, but I've had a relatively good experience, and obviously Marcel has never judged me. he cast me no matter what.
Nasty Meal says, Gigi is a beautiful woman and a great sport. I kind of think Nasty may have been the Mel Gibson from earlier. So he was saying that you're a good sport asking those questions.
Oh, thanks, Nasty.
Plus, he's clearly a fan of me. He's like the clone of me, I guess. But anyway, so when Stiletto comes out, I'd love to have you back and maybe some of the cast if you would like to, and then talk about it.
Yeah, totally.
So, Garden of Eden, you can see that now. Where can people find that?
I think pretty much everywhere. It's like on Amazon, on Apple. It's I think it's everywhere. Yeah.
And Brute 1970 and Brute 1976 in August going to have a select theater run. That's very exciting. So look into that. Where can people
be on the lookout for that one?
Yeah, where can people follow you and Brute 1976? When things
there's an Instagram page for Garden of Eden for Brood and everything. Just type it in on Instagram. I don't know the page exactly, but or on my page, Marcel Walz. Or Gigi, she's posting a lot of that stuff too.
Yeah.
And Stiletto, so everything, on Gigi's page on Instagram. Yeah.
You know, I do always ask people where to follow them, and I always think in my head, like, you know, they could probably just look this up and easily follow them. It's not really, but I still like to say, you know, if people wanted to put out there, whatever, Gigi, how can people follow you?
Oh, it's
Now
just
that
my
I just
name.
said-
It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
Gigi Gustin. Or watch Marcel's stories. I will pop up in one of them eventually.
That's
All
pretty
right.
much there. She will be there is like she will be in there like for sure every day once.
It's true.
I guess if one of them was like Joe Smith, maybe you know that would be tougher to narrow down.
That's true. Well, every once in a while we have someone and they picked like a handle from like when they were a teenager, and it's like some in joke between them and their friends, which is fine, but
Yeah,
it's really
which
impossible for
nobody
anyone else to actually
understands.
find
Fine,
them.
yeah.
So
No, it's
Yeah.
easy. It's my name. It's her name. Done.
yeah, all right, fair enough.
Well, yeah,
like-
I had to change my Twitter handle before my reality show came out that I was on because it was Gigi is a gangsta, but it was spelled like GIGANGSTUHHH, and they were all like, Gigi, you got to change that. And I was like, I don't want to. This is iconic. And they're like, no, it's not.
No, it's not.
Nobody can find you.
But someone stole my name, so my Twitter is like Gigi
Oh.
Gustin 0. Whatever, it's fine.
All right. We'll hunt those people down.
I liked
All right.
it.
Well, thank you both for being on. It's always good to see
Yeah,
you,
thank
Marcel.
you.
And it was nice to meet you, Gigi.
Nice to meet you.
Yep.
Yeah,
You guys come back anytime.
yeah. We love
Good
both the movies,
Great.
and not just because you're
Awesome.
here. All right, we'll let you guys go and
Yeah, thank
enjoy
you
your
so much.
evening.
Cool.
See you
Bye,
guys. Bye.
Bye.
All right, that was great.
Oh yeah, that was super.
Marcel and Gigi.
Totally
Thank you
cool
to the
people.
chat here. What's that?
Yep, totally cool people, totally fun chat. Everything's good.
Yeah. Boom. Is that too close?
You're super close.
Yeah, look,
That's
I'm kind of
okay.
scared like that. Gigi's behind us here. I don't know if it was probably
I
hard
feel
to see.
safer with it behind.
Yeah. Great interview. Thank you, Nasty
Thank you, thank
Neal. Let's see here. Anyway, thank you all the people in chat. So, every week we're giving away some gifts here on the Thursday show.
Give them
And
away.
so this week we've got this is a signed by me End Zone 2 flyer, the film that I made, that and Once in Future Smash is on the back. And Arbor Day, which is signed by me and Troy. We're actually in the future, we're going to have some stuff signed by me, Troy, and Tara Hutchinson.
Ooh.
And maybe we'll get our boy
Get
AJ was
AJ
going to
on
be
there,
here
too.
tonight, but he was in flight, so he wouldn't be home in time. And Tara will be on next week. Be back next week. Tara will probably be on every other week, and then sometimes more often. But Without Your Head sticker.
Ooh.
And then I've got a collection of slasher stickers because we did this movie tonight. So we got a Friday the 13th sticker.
Oh.
You've got a Halloween Michael Myers sticker. And of course, we had to have a Leatherface sticker. I believe that is actually from the remake.
Oh, I like that one.
So we'll give that
Stickers are
away.
always fun.
Yeah, at the end of the show. So every Thursday we'll give something away. And I do some other shows throughout the week, but I probably won't give stuff away on every show we do. But on the Thursday shows we will. But we do have some trailers to play. A lot of folks send in trailers, and you can send them in every week. Send them in to me on Facebook, or you can email withoutyourhead@gmail.com.
We love the trailers. What did we see when we saw 28 years
interesting.
later? What did we see for the
We should probably
big
review
trailer?
28 years later.
Yeah, we
so
could definitely do that.
so 28 years later, I can't say I was a big fan. I was really looking forward
either.
to it. I thought the trailer was fantastic.
I've been waiting for
trailer is
whatever
scarier
it's
than
been,
the movie.
6 months or however long it's been.
Yeah.
I've been on the edge of my seat waiting for this movie. I'm like, this is going to be the greatest movie maybe ever. Who knows?
Yeah, I was really excited for it. And so it starts, pretty good. So 28 years later, from the first movie, this is 28 years after the zombie or infected apocalypse. So there's stuff I like about it. I like that they start to expand their zombie mythology. So you've got slow zombies who are like, they're just kind of like slugs because they eat and they get overweight because they're not the fast ones. So I think that's interesting. They start to expand the, now they mate in this one, and they
And
have
even
alphas.
civilization in England, how like now, 28 years later, they've kind of divvied up into little pocket cities or villages and things.
Right.
How like the survivors have survived because the rest of the world is kind of like say, well, you're on your own. If you're
they never
in England, you're not going anywhere.
They never go to too much detail, but it is like basically said that that England is quarantined, and it's assumed that the rest of the world is fine. Like I guess that the rage hasn't infected the rest of the world, because you do see planes and that there's like people that like
like a patrol around there, like a harbor patrol from the rest of Europe, checking them out, making sure nobody's sneaking off the island.
So one of my biggest complaints about the movie, and this won't bother a lot of people, but
beware of spoilers. We may spoil some stuff.
There'll be some spoilers here, but it is very much, it feels very much like the beginning of a series, like the pilot episode of a series. So you set up a bunch of characters, you set up a bunch of plot lines that will expand, but the movie itself as a standalone movie doesn't really have an ending. It's basically the beginning of the trilogy as opposed to a standalone movie. And I get they do that a lot nowadays in different. It's very much Star Wars, like the new Star Wars trilogies do that. I'm just not really a fan of that. Like the original Star Wars is a standalone movie. I think a movie should just be a movie, even if it's meant to be a trilogy. But I probably a lot of people are just used to that by now. But for me, it's not very fulfilling to watch, and then it just ends with like no real ending to anything.
We see, if you wouldn't have told me that that's what their plan was with this one, I would have truly hated this movie because the way it ended really annoyed me. I would have burned the theater to the ground.
Well, I will say to me the worst part of the whole movie is the very ending, and not because there is like no like end of the movie. The characters introduced at the end I thought were truly awful, and out of like a completely different movie, a completely different vibe. It felt like all of a sudden we had people coming out of like Kill Bill or something. Comedic and goofy.
Dawn of the Dead or something like that.
To me did not fit. And then when I found out who they're paying homage to, I was like, whoa, like okay.
Yeah, that's just madness too.
Yeah, so just a spoiler here, they're a tribute to Jimmy Savile, a very well-known pedophile, so I'm not really exactly sure.
Yeah, and why you'd want to do that is,
I don't know. Like finally, Jimmy Savile is getting his just due here. We're getting
I guess
characters
so.
based around.
Yeah, universally loathed.
Yeah, I guess it'd be like
evil guy. Like
I guess in the if in the States you did a movie and you like made a group of people after like Jared the Subway guy.
yeah, probably even worse. Like the. You hear
because this is a way more
for years and years and years.
Yeah, and like made jokes about it publicly and stuff. So
yeah,
there's a lot of dong in the movie, and that's a divisive thing. Some people absolutely love that there's dong, and then some people are like they hate it because to me that's just a non-factor. It doesn't set me off. I also think, hell yeah, look at that friggin' 9-inch zombie dong. Like it's there and whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, for me, like I think the first 3/4 of the movie I really, really liked a lot. Like I had no issues with this one until then I think until the pregnant infected, and once she gives birth, then I checked out completely. I was like, all right, now we're just in the land of I just can't buy into any of this now.
Yeah, I think the idea of them giving birth is
Oh,
interesting.
that's fine with me
Yeah,
too.
because they're
Yeah.
not undead, they're not zombies.
Yep.
So there's real quick, honestly, the term zombie, people will get mad saying that like a movie where they're not undead isn't a zombie film. I don't think that's necessarily accurate to
Yep.
the original term of zombie, because I think people are taking zombie as the Romero zombies, which are undead. But before that, when they were like voodoo zombies, they weren't like undead. They're a zombie is really just someone doesn't have, they don't have control over their thoughts. He could be a, you know, truly that they are zombies.
Yep.
They don't have control over their actions. Something, but either way, it doesn't matter. But so I think that's interesting. But I do think the scene, it's very perplexing, because here's a spoiler, is the kids. So the setup is, so you got the family on the island, the mom, the dad, and the son. The dad takes the son out, kind of like the rite of passage, into the mainland to teach him how to kill the zombies. Now he's a man. The mom's sick. The son finds out that there's some mysterious doctor on the island, so he's gonna take the mom off and find this doctor and help her and heal her, or find out what's wrong with her. So the mysterious doctor is like this magical dude played by Ralph Fiennes, who made like skyscrapers of bones. Now he spent 30 years making like skyscrapers of bones, but he didn't think about like making some like a bunker to protect himself. He made a bunker about 2 feet tall that you have to lay completely flat so the zombies can't grab you. Like,
Yeah.
he had 30 years. Maybe instead of like build these temples of bones, he could have built like
And then didn't think to
bunker.
like kind of secure the back either. So one
They could
big
literally just
infected could just smash through it and grab you. But yeah,
yeah, it's
so
like
luckily none of those ever, attacked this place in 28 years.
it'd be like building like a big steel door for like a grass hut.
Yeah. Yep.
It's like if they attack the door, we're safe, but if they attack the walls, we're done for.
But I have all my, 10 square acres of like bone sculptures, that are each 100 feet tall,
Yeah.
and each skull is pristine. There's not, a crack where it shouldn't be, or none of them are discolored. They're all lily white, perfect bones.
Yeah. Well, he goes through this trouble of burning, like, I guess all the flesh off, and then, I don't know, whatever. But,
But none of them had any head trauma where they have like a fractured
yeah, because he even says
skull
some
or
of them are dead
anything.
people, are dead infected. They're not
Yep.
just all the humans. But so, anyways, they find out that the mother has brain cancer. And so you get this big long thing that's very obvious. The idea of like some deaths are better than others. So the idea is euthanasia. Like, and I think like anyone watching this movie would realize, yeah, it's probably better to be put out of your misery than to slowly die of brain cancer in the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah. Or get eaten by zombies, one
Yeah.
or the other. Yeah.
So and also the idea that you're going to slow everyone else down, like your loved ones, because how is the kid going to take care of the mom who's got brain cancer out in the woods? So okay, I get all that, and I'm not saying that's not needed. It's not like it's fine, but it's like so long.
Yeah, you're kind of beaten over the head with that one.
And
like,
they play this music. It's like la, da, 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 like this big orchestral thing from like an old Disney movie or something. It's like, yeah, we get it. He's killing. He's giving her something to die peacefully, and it's like told to like you're a complete idiot or something. Like, yeah, we get what's happening. You don't have to explain this for like a half hour. Like, all right, we get the, and then the big placing of the mom's skull. There's a lot of spoilers here, and it's so melodramatic. I was just like, oh
yeah.
my god.
Yep. But the thing that took me completely out of it is the one infected, she's pregnant, and so while they're trying to find the doctor, and it's the kid, his mom, and the Swedish kid that was part of like the the harbor patrol, and they crashed, and the rest of them had died. He was the only one left. So the mom finds the infected pregnant woman on a on a train car, and she goes over. And so in every one of these movies, whenever anyone's infected, they lose their mind. It doesn't matter if you're their son, daughter, grandmother, who you might be. They jump on you, attack you, tear you to pieces. But because this infected is given birth, mom goes up and holds her hands and helps her give birth. And why she has this moment of, lucidness is like beyond anybody. But she's completely fine and gives birth, and mom helps her, and the baby's not infected. And the only thing in the whole scene that made any sense to me is the Swedish guy who's got like an Uzi or something. He's like, okay, hand her back the baby because I'm going to shoot them. And mom and the kid are like, oh, you can't because the baby's fine. How the hell do you know it's fine? It's
Yeah, even if the baby's fine, the mom isn't.
Yeah. And then the Swedish guy's like, okay, then I'm going to shoot all four of you because I'm not leaving that alive and we're not taking that baby.
Yeah.
And that's
I think
the moment where I shut down. I was like, okay, this is ridiculous.
I think the idea the baby's fine is interesting.
Yeah, I'm fine.
I'm not really sure. I almost think it should be something completely different, which maybe is something they'll explore down the road, because if they do give birth to babies that aren't infected, you think they would just kill their babies?
Yeah, or just eat them or infect them then, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't really, or maybe they're born immune. I assume maybe it'll be something that's explained as these progress. But at least, I don't know, the idea is interesting or whatever, but I don't understand why the infected is, like you said, is suddenly not infected for that minute.
Yeah, she's completely fine. She's like, oh yeah, here, take my baby. Okay.
Yeah. I put up a spoiler alert here, Nasty Meal and Vagina, here at the bottom here. So while that's scrolling, we're spoiling the movie, and then I'll take it off when we're done spoiling the hell out of this movie. So yeah, and also there's like an action-y scene where they blow up like this diner, which was a little confusing, like because the military guy's just like, duck. And so I assumed this was a place he knew, and like they had built like a some kind of shelter. And so he shoots down into this diner that's filled with like gas, and it completely obliterates and explodes. And he's fine on top of it for some reason. And even worse, they're completely fine, and they're inside this place that it blows up like a atomic bomb.
Flaming, like they look like the Human Torch. They're running around there completely engulfed in flames. And mom and son aren't even singed.
Yeah, and they didn't fall. They didn't go into a base, but they just like lay down, and then they literally run out of the same place that's on fire that blew up. And, like, it's very dumb, and like I know maybe that's nitpicky, but it's something I see in action movies that really just kind of and it really was dumb here because this is presented as like a realistic film.
Yeah, I think that was the first part that kind of took me out, and then the baby was the finale for me. I was like, okay, I'm checking out now.
And so they've survived for 28 years, and they just sleep all the time at the guard station, because every time they go back to the guard station, they're just asleep. So they're running for their life, the dad and the
yelling
son,
and screaming.
Yeah, and everyone's just asleep at the guard post. And this is the guard post during this. It's not just, like there's nothing happening. This is the zombie apocalypse. And they're like the last remaining people on England. And they just sleep. And then later on in the movie, the kid comes back with a basket and the baby. And again leaves it at like the gate of the place, and again no one sees them because they're all asleep.
They got the worst guards in the universe,
and it's a place you can't sneak up on because the only way to get there is this long walk, like at low tide. And it's a narrow walkway
across.
With all these guard posts. All those what's the purpose of those gates? Either I thought like those gates, like you could close them
That's what it looked like at first.
So,
Yeah.
but they're completely meaningless because
I
they
think
never
so.
close them when they're being I didn't really get any of that.
Mm.
The more I thought about it, probably the more I disliked the movie. But I don't want to act like I hated it because I was sitting there and I didn't hate it, but it's not particularly good.
No. My expectation levels were so high that
Agreed.
if it wasn't great, I wasn't gonna love it.
Yeah.
And then it kind of was worse than I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty bad movie, honestly.
Yeah, and then like Nasty Neal said, the very ending,
That's
you have this
total
group of
shit.
like goons that just show up and they start
They're doing
doing this.
parkour. They're
Yeah,
doing parkour. They're doing flips and they're like flipping around and like
everybody's
kicking
got like a big
people.
stick and stuff. They slide down, and they're throwing nets on the infected and killing them, and they're treating them like total like nothing. So
Yeah, you made a good point. Where there is very much like in Dawn of the Dead when the biker gang. Now in Dawn of the Dead, what makes the zombies dangerous is there's so many of them, but singularly, you can kill them pretty easy because they're dead bodies. And so
yeah,
when the bikers they're kind of having fun with it. They're hitting them with pies, and they
Mhm.
could still be dangerous if they bite you and stuff.
yeah,
But
which it ends up happening. But
yeah,
like
yeah. But this makes no sense because
no,
just one rage is very dangerous because they're running around and they're strong and
yeah, and they're completely berserk. They're like wild animals. They're fast
yeah,
and
and
strong.
you have to kill them the same way you would kill a person.
Yep,
You
yep,
can't just run out. You can't just flip around and kill a bunch of people with a stick.
yep. So yeah, and so they do that. They wipe out however many infected without really any effort at all, except
They
for
look
trying to
like
look
complete
neat.
jackasses. They
Yeah,
all have these blonde hair. I don't know. That was like out of like Kill Bill or like just some
yeah. It was
dumbass
almost
movie.
like a python skit or
Yeah,
something.
it's just not fitting in this movie.
Yeah, yeah. Because the rest of the movie's real bleak and everything has that like just kind of man, we're trying the best we can, but shit's going down kind of vibe. And then here's a bunch of jackasses dancing around, killing, the infected.
Yeah. So
Didn't
anyway,
make
that's
any sense.
28 years later.
Yep, I thought I was gonna love it, and it was meh.
Mhm. Spoilers are over. We're back
Yes,
here.
spoilers are out. You guys are safe. Come on back.
All right. I'll do that for now on though. I'll put up spoiler alert when we have spoilers.
Spoiler alert.
So I was sent this movie today. It's coming to Shudder, and I don't know. I think we may have guessed, but I'm not sure if they speak English. But Monster Island.
Whoa!
I didn't even watch
what is this?
I didn't watch any of these trailers yet. So we're gonna watch them for the first time here together. All right, here we go. We are going to watch Monster Island come into Shudder. We may have the filmmakers on. I'm not exactly sure. But let's
Roll it,
check
Smokey.
this out.
It meets like the
All right.
Predator. I kind of dig it.
Yeah, all right. We're into that. We're into that one. Thank
good.
you. Shudder actually sent that.
So
thank you,
Finn
Shudder.
Balor, though, was it?
Finn Balor, the demon.
That wasn't him, was it? All right. Because he looked and sounded like him.
Really? So next up, Troy, this one is sent in from one of our listeners, Frank Palangi, and this is American Psychopath.
Ooh. I like the title.
I forgot to ask. I was going to ask Gigi about working with Robert Lasardo.
Oh.
Because she was in that movie we interviewed him about recently.
We define a serial killer as a person who murders at least 2 to 3 people, with the killings taking place over a significant period of time in separate events.
Sending them letters and messages, always knowing where they are.
I just want to go home.
I really need to get going.
Sure.
Yes, I was wondering if you could tell me if a girl called last night.
Hey, Katie, it's Bob. Is Rachel with you by any chance? Well, no, I tried there. I mean, she's not there. She's not here. She left her phone here. Like, I don't know where she could be.
You may never find out what makes them do what they do.
You may never find out what makes them do what they do.
What they do.
We are back on WWCRY.
All right, American Psychopath.
I'd give it a look. See.
Yeah, we will check that out. Thank you, Frank, for sending that one in. We got a few lot today. We got next up is Evil Inheritance.
Oh.
From Chris Ambrose. Sorry if I mispronounced any of your names. Wow, this is a really short one. So.
Oh, okay.
This is only 21 seconds.
Don't blink.
Yeah, so don't close your eyes. Any of the I know vagina wrinkles can get very scared. So here we go. 21 seconds. Evil Inheritance.
Something evil was unleashed 20 years ago, and all hell broke loose. The new horror film from Night Creature Productions, Evil Inheritance, coming soon.
All right. I really like the voiceover on that. It's a very classic trailer.
Yep. Yeah, it was like the don't go into the woods.
Yeah, very like when I was growing even like 70s or 80s, I would say, like movie trailer. I like that. That looks cool. Thank you for sending that in, Chris. Our next one is Contamination.
Oh.
And this is from Neal Chase, who I believe is friends of Jamie Hill, who's on the show a lot. From Skinamarink.
Nice.
Friend, filmmaker from a friend of hers. I think she may even be in the movie. All right, here we go.
Quickly, one after the other. 1, 2, 3, 4 of the armored Martians appear.
Oh, that's almost out of 28 years later.
I know, that's kind of freaking me out a little.
Yeah.
In the sun, as they swept swiftly forward upon the guns, growing rapidly larger as they drew nearer. I gave a cry of astonishment. I saw and thought nothing of the other 4 Martian monsters. My attention was riveted upon the nearest incident. Simultaneously, 2 other shells burst in the air near the body as the hood twisted round in time to receive, but not in time to dodge the 4th shell. A violent explosion shook the air, and a spout of water, steam, mud, and shattered metal shot far up into the sky. The noise was deafening. Then I saw them, dimly colossal figures of gray magnified by the mist. They had passed by me, and 2 were stooping over the frothing, tumultuous ruins of their comrade. For a moment, perhaps, I stood there, breast high in the almost boiling water, dumbfounded at my position, hopeless of escape. Through the reek, I could see the people who had been with me in the river, scrambling out of the water through the reeds, like little frogs hurrying through grass in the advance of a man, or running to and fro in utter dismay on the towing path. I screamed aloud. I screamed aloud. I screamed aloud and scalded, half blinded, agonized.
I don't know what to think about that one.
No, it's yeah, I think it is a 28 days later kind of movie.
That's what it seems like. But it seems like they spent some time and effort on it.
Yeah, it looks
like,
high production value.
Yep. I mean, I'd give it a shot.
Mm-hmm. I think that you cannot give too much away in a trailer, but also at the same time you want to like explain a little bit. So I'm not really sure what's happening here. But,
Yep.
All right, next one is The Cellar.
Ooh. The Cellar.
This is from Jamie
I would like
Langley.
to say the Lord's Prayer of Sacrament in remembrance of his flesh and blood that he sacrificed for us.
lot of religious stuff.
Yeah.
Oh God,
I got some Tom Hardy-esque lips
in
working.
the name of thy Son, the Lord Jesus Christ, to bless and sanctify this bread to the souls of all those who
His
partake,
eyes are creepy. We got some like
that they may
reptilian eyes, snake eyes.
eat in remembrance of the body of thy Son, Jesus Christ, and witness unto him, O God, the eternal Father, that they be willing to take upon him the name of thy Son, and always remember him, and keep his commandments that he has given them, that they may always have his Spirit to be with them. Amen.
Heller.
All right. I like it.
All right, we're into that. The Cellar. Thank you guys. All right. The next one is pull this up. This one is, give me a minute. The Snow Beast Blood Massacre, and this is from Blood Pact Films.
This one's making me smile just thinking of the name.
So yeah, they contacted us today. They sent us like a bunch of trailers. I told we'll play one each week, and they would like to come on the show, so we'll work that up. Snow Beast Blood Massacre.
There's no beast like Snow Beast.
We go, oh, this is interesting. I like the snow. Looks very much like New England here. Looks like something kind of familiar to something Troy and I like. Oh, I'm into this 100%.
Yep. I love it. I just love it. Yeah.
I'm a big fan.
Blood in the snow.
Damn. All right, I'm sold. Snow Beast Blood Massacre.
Yep. You want some Snow Beast and some hippie Asian chicks? I'm good. Oh, yeah.
That's good. Yeah, I'm down. We need a good Yeti movie.
Hell
we
yeah.
May or may not be making one.
We will eventually.
Let's see here. So next up, this will be the last one for this evening, is Final Transmissions. Now, this one is actually, it's an Indiegogo campaign that will start tomorrow. With a lot of friends of mine are involved, and we will be doing a group interview next Wednesday, in addition to our Thursday show. So here is the Indiegogo pitch for Final Transmissions. Here, oh, look at that! Oh, yeah, look at that. Hold on, you want me? I was going to put you back up there. Look at that. Now, this may be for something that Troy and I are making. Boom! Look at that. It's freaking amazing. Damn. Yeah. So, you know, someone may have written a Yeti movie, and Troy's making some of the stuff here. All right. Here we go. Final Transmissions. I know that movie, Once and Future Smash.
Hot damn. I think I know most of the crazy bastards behind that one.
So again, you faked Beholder. I don't understand why I'm not allowed to fake my death.
I was messing with VHS tapes and some magnets, and you falsified a death certificate.
Oh, hey, potato. Okay, so like, what's on this tape that we're picking up?
Okay, yeah. We're picking up a tape of my favorite show from when we were growing up. It's called Final Transmission. It's on really late.
This is the lamphead thing.
This is the lamphead thing. Yeah. And this is that episode. This is the episode called Mayday. It's all about this plane that just kind of vanished from the sky.
So nobody's ever found these tapes and put them on the internet. You have to get a physical copy.
Well, that's what we're trying to do, right? Like, that's why Steven tipped me off to this guy.
I like that guy's got a soul too.
I'm Michael J. Epstein, and I'm here with fellow director and cinematographer Sophia Casanova.
I know that crazy kid.
Oh, well, look at
She's
her.
shooting on a camera that we found at a vintage shop while traveling through Texas. And it's an interesting camera because it shoots video on audio cassette. It also came with piles and piles of audio cassettes filled with footage from this camera. What's on these audio cassettes? Something puzzling, something surprising, something from outer space.
My name is Alex Hara, and for the last 6 months, I've been searching for a tape. After getting in contact with private archivists, collectors, and anonymous merchants, I was sent a strange set of coordinates in the middle of rural Idaho. There, I found a dead drop with a copy of one of the lost episodes of Final Transmissions. Supposedly, the footage aired showed an otherworldly presence interrupting the lives of 2 young hunters in a very strange, very isolated small town, only one day before the entire town disappeared off the face of the earth. If you want to know what's on this tape, donate to the Final Transmissions Indiegogo campaign.
Hello, my name is Aviv Rubenstein, and I am the writer and director of Alam, Kingdom of Plants, and Lizzie Lazarus. I was a teenager in the early days of
been on the
internet,
show.
and I was blown away when I first got my eyes on Final Transmissions. The episode that always stuck with me was a creepy episode about a celebrity whose camera becomes obsessed with her and starts dreaming of her. It was called The Camera Loves You. This was maybe the only Final Transmission episode that took place in the distant future of 2025. The thing that stuck with me the most was how scarily accurate this episode was in predicting how we'd be living in the modern day. So imagine my surprise when this found its way into my mailbox. Where did it come from? I'm not going to ask. Now we need your help in restoring it so we can creep out future audiences.
In the state of Virginia, there is a route designation applied to road.
You've more than likely heard of Elkton Farm Road, a local ghost story hotspot constructed in 1915. The road is home to numerous paranormal sightings such as ghost children playing in the street, the wailing woman on the bridge, and the workers who died during the road's construction. It all sounds fake as an outsider looking in, but if you've driven down the road, it's hard to believe it's all hearsay.
We hope that you're receiving this transmission. My name is Stephen Q. Nelson.
I'm Erica Nelson, and we're the filmmakers behind the upcoming found footage movie, Old Wounds.
When I was a kid, I saw a late-night public access show called Final Transmission. The things that I witnessed on those broadcasts have never been explained.
After the final season aired, the show disappeared. For over 25 years, there's been no proof that
Final Transmission. I've been searching, trying to find this footage, but the footage found me. I don't know how to explain it, but it just appeared on our doorstep.
And now we're asking for your help to get this footage out there. With your contributions, we can finally solve this mystery.
Figure out what happened to the Final Transmission. Please, hurry, before it's too late.
There you go. So that it is a found footage anthology. They have the campaign starts tomorrow. A lot of former guests here. People know I've worked with Michael and Sophia on several projects, so they will be on. Are you muted?
No, what are you talking about? You had your
You talk to
volume
me,
down.
boy.
That one has me intrigued, though. I think that one looks like it might be pretty good.
Yeah. So they haven't filmed it yet. They'll be doing the campaign. It'll start running tomorrow.
I like kind of the concepts behind it, though. I dig it.
So, like I said, that'll be Wednesday. We'll be talking to those fine folks. And then that Thursday, we will be joined by Christy Angus from one of the most memorable death scenes in Friday the 13th franchise to kick off Slasher Month in July.
Oh.
She gets her head frozen in Jason X and then smashed. So it's going to be a really busy week next week, Trish. So Wednesday, final transmission, folks. Thursday, Christy Angus from Jason X. And then Friday for the 4th of July, the return of Bill Lustig. And we are going to talk about Uncle Sam. Now, look, we've had Bill on the show many times. We talked about Maniac. We've talked about Maniac Cop. But this time, for the 4th of July, we are going to be talking about Uncle Sam, a very, I think, an underrated horror film from Mr. Lustig.
I like it, too. Uncle Sam, Daddy-O.
And then that Saturday, the return of Lawrence R. Harvey.
One of our favorite people.
Yes, from Human Centipede 1, 2. I mean, not 2. 2. Not 1. 2 and 3. But he's got all kinds of other cool movies out. So we're going to be talking to him about those. That'll be a good time. So that will be fun. All right. So now, Troy, we're going to get out the Macho Man.
The Macho Cup.
The Macho Cup. And we are going
dig that cup.
Got the Macho Man Cup here. It's got numbers 1 through 10. I think it's 1 through 5, maybe. I don't know. What I forget. It's got a lot of numbers in here anyway.
There's a bunch of numbers in it. Yeah.
And we're gonna get one of our lucky. I didn't give out the. That's all right. We'll do it next week. We'll take some video calls. We're getting kind of late now.
Oh, okay.
Unless you want me to take some now.
No, we'll get to this, and then because I got the dogs upstairs, I gotta get them out.
I didn't have dinner yet either. I'm getting.
Okay.
So our top 3 for the week is Barton Gray, Nasty Neal, and Vagina Wrinkle. Well, I think it's a V wrinkle here on the thing, but Vagina Wrinkle. All right.
1, 2, 3.
So, but I think I have the top 6 in here that can win.
Oh, okay.
All right. So we got a number here.
We got the number.
They are going to win an autographed Arbor Day autographed flyer from me and Troy. An End Zone 2 autograph flyer by me.
Nice.
It's even autographed What in Tarnation. Without Your Head sticker, a green one this week. A Halloween sticker. A Friday the 13th sticker.
Ooh.
And a Leatherface remake sticker.
That is a pretty cool little gift basket there. You got the goodies and the lucky number.
Oh, number 1. That is Vagina Wrinkle. Vagina Wrinkle has won. She has won herself this collection of cool stuff. So send me the Addy, and I will put this in the mail.
That is awesome. Very good.
So we're gonna do that every week. If you would like to help support the show, first of all, you gotta hit the like button, share it out to the world, leave comments, hit that little bell icon, get notifications every time we're live. Become a member. It starts only $3 a month. You can even do the $10 tier month, and you'll get IMDb credits for that whole month of shows. That's pretty cool. And you can also Venmo us. Now, we're in pre-production for Arbor Day. And it does cost money to make things like this. And I've got some puppetry back here. I should have brought it over, but make things like this. And I'm currently making a puppet. And it costs money for fur and foam and these things. So if you'd like to help out, you can Venmo at Headyverse, or you can PayPal withoutyourhead@gmail.com. We're going to have an official campaign launching hopefully in July. But until then, if you'd like to help out pre-production just to cover the cost of materials to make some props, we would love that. Lena Vagina Wrinkle, thank you. It's become a new YouTube member. A great vagina wrinkle. We appreciate that. All right, Troy. So until next week, a lot of shows, and I enjoy doing live streaming. So a lot of people
do it, brother Glenn.
So, why not? I'll be here friggin' every day.
Hell yeah. You put in the effort, and that's a good thing.
Yeah. So our boys, our friends, our pals, our amigos, our compadres, Tara Hutchinson and AJ Cutler will be back next week.
Awesome.
They'll be on, they can't always be here. I understand that, but they'll be on
Makes
regularly.
Special that way. Like, when they appear and you're like,
exactly.
Yay!
Exactly.
Confetti's thrown in the air.
Yeah. So Tara will be on every other week at least, and we're also going to be doing some Saturday shows together. And AJ when he is available, because he's also putting together Our Man Funk, and he's also editing another feature film. So good for him. So I don't have the closing track ready, but I do have. I'm gonna play us out with the trailer for Brute 1976 and a great. So until next week, this is Nasty Neal.
That would make me terrible, Troy.
This is Without
Your
Head.
You know where you are, right? This place's nickname is Death.
Let's begin.
All aboard for your one-way trip to hell.
No one ever comes out this way anymore. 100 years ago, this was one of the most brutal places in America.
Did you hear that?
The worst of the worst showed up here. Murder. That was the way of life.
One of us is definitely getting murdered here.
Anybody down there?
Be quiet. They'll hear you.
Is that a chainsaw?
We need to get out of here. Why are you doing this?
Why does anyone do anything? What do you believe?